Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, LPM questions ECN on alleged discrepancies. Election process is watertight, says Muyoro. Disgruntled group hands over petition for unpaid pensions. And Saki Shangala's friends to decide on recruitment of Prosecutor General, says the AR.
Leader of the Landless People's Movement at a press conference a day before the elections revealed and questions irregularities the party discovered regarding ballot papers to be used for the upcoming election.
Every time during these elections, we have said, including in Parliament, that the playbook of ZANU-PF is at work in SWAPO. Every time we have said it, on every policy matter. The playbook of ZANU-PF is fully reloved. ZANU-PF 101, that's the classroom that SWAPO has joined and is graduating from. That's why they are deploying 3 teams of military intelligence. None of these teams know what the other team will be doing, but they are given assignments to influence votes. He will talk about the briefing that we have received. There are generals in the military that don't support this approach of the ECN being militarized. When we speak about these things, some foolish cocoons try to pin us down to evidence as if we are detectives in some sort of a Sherlock Holmes movie. When the deep state wants to achieve its outcomes.
Bernardo Swartboy questioned issues such as parties not allowed to witness the offloading of ballot papers printed in excess, and the ECN's 15% contingency plan are among some of the errors the party has picked up.
Somebody must have given the instructions for the printing agency to print those ballot papers, those extra booklets, in a particular fashion. What does it indicate? Why should these excess booklets be kept by the ECN and not destroyed? And why is there no discovery of a mistake that was made by the person or the company that was asked to print? If that company made a mistake, they must be returned these booklets and a refund to the ECN must be made. But clearly, if the ECN does not request for a refund of the excess printing of ballot papers and extra booklets marked XXXX, surely then you must have ordered what you received. If there is no evidence that ECN is returning and therefore claiming a refund, we can't be blaming the printing agency or the company that won the tender to print these ballots.
Swartboy adds that amongst other errors, an LPM candidate's photo was switched with that of a SWAPO candidate on the ballots for Otavi to, according to him, cause confusion amongst members of the public.
How does somebody do that? This was actually printed. Do you have it saved?
Yes, sir.
Where is it?
No, not a copy here.
We should have had a copy here,
yes,
so that we don't make that room for speculation. Did they send it back and corrected it?
No, they didn't come back to us to tell us that they had corrected it.
After how many inquiries?
Yeah, they did finally.
They eventually. So do you see how deliberately mistakes are made? Who was not going to win there? Of course we are going to win in Otavi, but now it's been confused.
We were told the type of drug that was brought in, given the schedule, for example, when it has arrived, where it was taken, what type of capabilities do they have to be administered to different people, especially the polling agents or the party agents of LPM, that they will momentarily forget whatever has happened. And we clearly know when it arrived from North Korea, and that drug is called the Tafandria Mandri drug that is used by some of the girls of the night to make you forget. Now they are similarly following those trends that the military intelligence is quite deeply involved in that operation, and we are clearly told that every polling station has that the what we call a military intelligence officer as polling officers.
This drug, I'm told, is intended to make a polling agent nauseous, irritated, disorientated, unfocused, and enhances your inability to concentrate, so that you move in and out, you are not still, you are not quiet, you can't focus on the mission, you are completely disoriented and blinded. So in giving us this information, they've also asked us to tell all polling agents and party agents, don't eat any food or drink any water that you have not purchased yourself at all.
It's already available in wherever they want to use it. It'll be in powdered form, put in water, and then food. When we say these things, we are not thumb-sucking things. It's happening, it's out there. Namibia, remember, is just another African country. So be careful of what we can find out there. Please, let's be vigilant. Watch out and look at everything. And get your cell phones so that we can take evidence.
My vote is a gateway to opportunities.
My vote is a reflection of my aspiration.
My vote expresses my versatility.
If you are 18 years old and a registered voter, make the first time count. Get to the polls on the 25th November 2020 and vote for the candidate, political party or organization of your choice in the regional council and local authority elections. Make your mark with a cross on the ballot. Do what is right and be part of the decision. Namibia votes.
The Electoral Commission of Namibia Chief Electoral Officer, in an exclusive interview with Today on One, stated that the election process is watertight, but did admit that there were a few issues with the material. According to ECN, this is the biggest voter turnout for the regional council and local authority elections in Namibian history. ECN Chief Electoral Officer Theo Miyoro said that they have ensured that their systems will be working 100% on the 25th of November 2020.
We are very happy with our level of preparations. We are quite satisfied with the security arrangements around our processes. Of course, I have had reports of I think during the transportation of some of our metal boxes in which we carry our ballot books, you know, I had reports that when some of these things arrived at certain places, that the seals were broken. I mean, I'm not concerned about that. I'm not worried about that, because the important thing is that we had political party representatives at our stores. As these things were being loaded, were being packed and loaded onto these trucks. Political parties know exactly how many ballot books are being sent to which constituency, to which local authority. They have taken down the serial numbers of all the books that we have sent. They were part of the process of printing ballot papers. So I think I'm not really concerned about some of the things that people are saying, or things that we are seeing on social media and so forth. I think our process is really watertight. We have sufficient integrity systems around our processes, and I'm really happy and confident, and I'm sure I want the public to be confident and to have faith in our process. Our processes are truly above board, and I have no doubt in my mind that this country will witness credible elections being held over the next 48 hours.
Miyoro explained how the ballots will be counted and finalized in each constituency.
The forthcoming elections are totally different in terms of the manner of accounting for votes and basically announcing election results, because technically speaking, we will be running 116 independent elections. Of course, we call it regional council elections. Keep in mind that 5 of these constituencies that we have nationally will be uncontested because there were only sole candidates nominated there. Therefore, we will be running elections in 116 constituencies simultaneously. But it's important to understand that, technically speaking, these are different separate elections taking place separately, but at the same time. So for that reason, the results to be announced in a particular constituency by the returning officer have nothing to do with the results to be announced in the next constituency. They are not interdependent.
In conclusion, the participants of the 2020 elections are reminded that they won't be allowed to vote if they are not wearing their face mask.
Get the season savings at OK, like all gold tomato sauce for a low $23.99, Kellogg's cornflakes for just $39.99, and Rick Coffee for only $69.99.
Swipe your count on card to enter, and you can win a bucket too.
OK, owners you can count on.
A group of over 70 women marched to the Old Mutual Tower demanding for the insurance company to release the pension money that they have been waiting for over a year now. The Old Mutual representative tried to explain to the frustrated group that the contracted company that dealt with their pension was liquidated and it takes between 3 to 6 months to finalize payments.
Within 24 hours, we want our money!
The group claimed that they have never been informed about the liquidation and that Namibian Police Force Regional Commander Joseph Shikongo was also present in the initial meeting where this was not discussed.
When your officer was there, that's where we decided to go to the police to allow us to make a demonstration. Yeah. They tell even our MD that they was supposed to pay out our money on last June. You understand what I say? Last June, then they received a caller from Holding. Then that caller, they're mentioning the other name, but we don't know, we don't have a proof. They say they are the one who stop our process. Yeah. They didn't say anything about the liquidation. Even when I was in your office last month with Dr. Shikongo, the one who make a communication with your office, they say another, and even they told us that there's no more liquidation. What we're supposed to pay out is your money. Now, if you are talking about liquidation, we won't go back. We won't go back. Yeah. You know what? Your officer, I think to me, let me say that your people, the one who sent it to our company, they are lying. They are not talking what maybe you are sent them. Yeah.
Before accepting the petition, the Old Mutual representative explained to the group that there are outstanding documents required before the official process can begin.
So we got all the documents from the employer by the end of August. Normally, under normal circumstances, liquidation takes about 6 months to finalize. But we are very aware of your plea that you need your money. So I'm pushing very hard for us to finalize your pension, get the preliminaries out, get the actuaries to sign it off so that we can pay out your money. But you must make sure that in order for you to get your money, that you have completed all your withdrawal forms and that you submitted that your bank accounts are active, that your tax is in order, because remember, we must ask for tax directives. So if your tax is not in order, we cannot pay you money. You know that the receiver of revenue, then takes the money. So please make sure that your tax is in order so that we can pay you out the money. So we're busy with all that processing now. So if you give us some time to mid-December, we will then pay. So it will then take us 3.5 months for liquidation. It normally takes us 6 months.
Left with many unanswered questions, the angry group did not want to accept the fact that the Old Mutual representative stated that she was not aware of the official meeting.
Because we have already signed it in January, the beginning of the year. Our signed signature is already in your offices. That's why we don't have any trust of that. Because or whether you didn't sign, you didn't receive that that we have already signed. You don't know. Yeah, because you do not done your job properly. Okay.
Saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What can we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like, man, let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
Just Africans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you carry on.
Creating music and putting some stuff out for the people who've been supporting me, that's definitely something that's next on my list.
The affirmative repositioning movement have lashed out at the Chief Justice Peter Shivute for not availing himself to receive a petition addressed to the Judicial Service Commission, which demands that the hearings for the appointment of the incumbent Prosecutor General be done in public and not in secrecy.
The corrupt Saki Shangala that is in jail now was the one that amended that law, is the person that used to serve as Attorney General of that Judicial Service Commission. If Saki can easily manipulate the legislature, he could go to Parliament and even enact and pass law in terms of the Marine Act that him and Esau used for them to be able to have power to allocate fish quotas to their friends and so forth.
Amunime alleged that the process of recruiting the new PG is tainted with corruption, as the members of the Judicial Service Commission who will have a hand in appointing the incumbent PG are associates of Saki Shangala through his previous appointment as the Attorney General before serving as the Justice Minister. Shangala is currently in custody as one of the masterminds behind the fish rot scandal.
You see, the Prosecutor General is very important because this person is even going to preside over Saki Shangala's case. Saki Shangala, when he was serving on the Judicial Service Commission, he was Attorney General. So Saki Shangala and the colleagues and his associate are still in charge of the Judicial Service Commission. Saki Shangala is behind bars now. His colleagues are going to appoint a Prosecutor General that is going to decide whether Saki Shangala is going to be prosecuted or not. So how do we leave such a process in Saki Shangala's associate, in Saki Shangala's friends, to decide who's going to be Prosecutor General that's going to deal with the file of Saki Shangala and the whole fish rot case? That's why we're saying we're demanding to Chief Justice as the head of the Judicial Service Commission, let the process be transparent, let the process be open. There is no way that we must have secret interview. Anywhere when you apply, interviews are never secret. The Judicial Service Commission, as per Article 88 of the Namibian Constitution, it's clearly a public institution. Nothing is secretive about it. Because this Judicial Service Commission is then going to recommend who are the shortlisted candidates to the head of state, then the president is going to appoint who's going to be the Prosecutor General.
Members of the AR recently marched from the Katutura Youth Complex to the Supreme Court in town and thereafter to the residence of the Chief Justice in Eros, where they camped outside his estate for a night, demanding that he receives their petition, whereby they requested that the entire process of recruiting the incumbent PG should be amended and made public. Amunime said that the AR has given the Judicial Service Commission a deadline until the 27th of November 2020 to consider their demands.
We gave them a due date of 27 November. We are telling them that our demands are very clear. That whole process of the recruitment of the PG must start over. That process have to be conducted through public interviews, because the shocking part is they've even shortlisted a stooge from the SWAPO party organization to say that, look, someone complained, because the requirement when it was initially advertised was 15 years. Someone complained on Twitter, on social media, Ruth Erunga, then they reduced the requirement to 10 years. So what informed them to reduce the advertisement? Because if you advertise for a job, you have to come back to take the public into confidence and say, we've reduced the requirements because none of the people met the requirements that applied. Even Martha Mwara, the incumbent PG, applied. So why did they not use the same requirement that they used when they employed Martha Imara? So it's a very shady process. You can see that they want to compromise and put political figures that are going to work on the Fish Road case to make sure that they are not going to prosecute those guys that are in jail, that are so guilty or that are arrested for money laundering, corruption and all those things. That's why we gave them until the 27th of November. If nothing is done, we are going to have two approaches. One, we are going to continue with constant protests. So it's a protest that is going to happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until the year. Secondly, we are going to use our lawyer so that we go for agent interdict, because that process can continue.
In a press statement issued to the media, the Judicial Service Commission responded by saying that the JSC rejects the unfounded allegations and remains on course to perform its constitutional mandate. Today on One tried to contact the Judicial Service Commission for another response, but efforts proved futile.
Hello Namibia, my name is Adora and welcome to a brand new edition of the cool news show called The Ain't Like a Vibe. On this show, we get to know who our artists really are behind the scenes and what inspires them, what keeps them going, what makes them tick. What are some of your favorite sounds?
Trap music, hip-hop.
Yeah, okay.
Hip-hop, Afro dancehall.
We came from a background whereby we were raised by our grannies, so it's not a shameful thing for me to do, because we used to sell and said we would work from Sambolokasi to Okuriangala.
Wala Namibia, this is your boy Tulisan. Don't forget to watch the Ain't Like a Vibe TV show on One Africa Television.
In other leading stories, the American Embassy is supporting 24 new public health jobs at the Ministry of Health and Social Services to continue the fight on COVID-19. The new temporary employees who started in October have been hired for 3 months and work in 7 regions to help keep the gains made in reducing COVID-19 transmission in the country. While the number of COVID-19 cases appears to be decreasing in many areas of the country, the Ministry of Health and Social Services is watchful for outbreaks of infection, rapid spread through the communities, and a second wave of COVID-19 transmission. The 24 new staff will contribute to this vigilance without impacting Namibia's budget. The funding, channeled through the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Namibia, has funded 2 data managers, 2 public health officers, 7 surveillance officers, 7 administrative officers, and 6 enrolled nurses. The personnel are deployed to the Regional Ministry of Health and Social Services teams in the Khomas, Irongo, Zambezi, Kavango, Omaheke, Karas, and Ohangwena regions. The data managers and public health officers will support the Emergency Operations Center in the monitoring and coordination of the national response to COVID. The surveillance officers will have direct involvement in contact tracing and identifying clusters of cases when they occur. The funding to hire the 24 temporary staff is part of the $100 million donation to fight COVID-19 that was announced by the U.S. Embassy in April. And the Japanese embassy handed over a new school block funded by the government of Japan through its grant assistance for grassroots human security projects to Amajete Primary School in Daures, Irango region. His Excellency Hideaki Harada, Ambassador of Japan, officiated the event and handed over the facility to Mrs. Ernfrida Stefanes, Director of Education, Arts and Culture for the Irango region, on behalf of Honorable Anand Kipanoka, Minister of Education, Arts and Culture. The school was established in 1942 by the then Southwest African Administration to respond to the educational needs of the local community. It currently accommodates 396 learners from pre-primary to grade 7 and 14 teachers are assigned to the school. More than 50% of learners are registered as orphans and vulnerable children, and due to a shortage of classrooms, grade 2 and 3 learners were subject to the platoon system. They had to wait until the afternoon and had to learn outside before the classrooms were made available to them from the morning classes. This caused safety and security concerns for those who commute more than 2 hours to school on foot, especially during cold and dark winter months. It was against this background that the government of Japan extended a grant of over 700,000 Namibia dollars for building a new school block consisting of 2 permanent classrooms and 1 storeroom. This new school block will be used by a total of 80 grade 2 and 3 learners who will be resuming their face-to-face learning early next year.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. The Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, in partnership with the National Housing Enterprise and the City of Windhoek, handed over 50 houses in Achterlaan, Ochomuise under the Informal Settlement Upgrading Housing Pilot Project. Navarre said elections should be held every second year. Mandume said this was a good move. Pavi said they should keep trying their best. John Jones said it seems the city is still approving single brick wall houses instead of the set standard. In efforts to combat sexual gender-based violence in the country, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare launched the 16 Days of Activism campaign against the phenomena of which, according to the Namibian police, cases have escalated from January 2018 to September 2020. A victim and perpetrator of SGBV at the launch both shared their stories and experiences. Noah said giving testimony in public is not a remedy to SGBV. Lizette said the victim was tremendously brave to do so and that the stories were powerful. Namonongenda wished the victim strength and wisdom on her journey. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. WhatsApp your feedback, name and town to 081 200 6659. One Africa TV, it just gets better. Win free airtime with hashtag Learn on One. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name,